Great.
Don't speak. Yeah. Hi. So I'm Daniel. I'm Daniel McIntyre. I'm the post-sentence support coordinator at Onashowewin. And this is Rayna. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Rayna. I'm also working in the post-sentence support program this summer. And we're with Onashowewin, which is a community-based justice organization here in Winnipeg. And so we just came to introduce or reintroduce, for those who are already familiar, Onashowewin Justice Circle, and a little bit about our programs and how we can complement the work that Legal Aid is already doing.
Yeah. You can go ahead and share the PowerPoint there.
Okay, and if anyone has any questions, I've asked and they confirm that we can just unmute yourselves and we'll go from there.
Yeah, there is also a space at the end where there's a question and answer space that we've left, but feel free if there's anything that pops up and you want to address it immediately, feel free. We're happy to chat.
Back here and slideshow. Sure, if somebody can just confirm, give it a second. Can everybody see the green Onashowewin Justice Circle? Yep, I'm getting the thumbs up.
Okay. Yeah,
that should be good to go. And if you want to, let's make sure it works with the arrows. So
yeah, go for it.
Perfect.
Looks like we're in business. All right, thank you. Okay, so so we're here to introduce or reintroduce Onashowewin and a little bit about our programs. We have 3 programs that are currently in operation at Onashowewin. We'll talk a little bit about those and how we can support some of the legal aid clients, as some of the lawyers often meet them in their most stressful and unstable points. And we recognize that a lot of these clients are dealing with poverty, trauma, homelessness, or housing instability, addictions, mental health challenges, family instability. And so legal aid lawyers provide the representation, but they're not necessarily able to carry all of these non-legal issues. And that is where Onashowewin can help. So we'll go over a little bit about that and go from there. So yes, as I said, Onashowewin is an Indigenous community-based justice organization here in Winnipeg. The Onashowewin name means the way we see justice, and it reflects our approach to justice as something that includes accountability, healing, restoration, responsibility, and community safety. So our work is rooted in Indigenous cultural values, relationship building, cultural teachings, practical support planning, and we aim to promote reconciliation and help restore balance and safety in our communities. We are not here to replace lawyers, courts, probation, or parole, or other justice partners. We're simply here to work alongside them.
You want to share a quick fun fact about that picture?
Oh yeah, fun fact about this picture. This is like a very old historical photo. The Nahani Fontaine is in the middle, and my mom is in the black near Nahani Fontaine.
With the bangs, right?
With the bangs. Yeah. She was part of the board at one point.
Boy.
Yeah. I just happened to find that randomly and I sent it to my mom. She's like, oh, I was 31 there and I'm 32. So it's just random, but okay. I'll give it off to Dan here to talk about a little bit more of our programs.
Yeah, so Onashowewin in general, as you could see from that circa 2006 photo, it's existed for about 25 years. Historically, what the organization has done is almost entirely like post and pre-charge, charge diversion work, essentially. So there's a bunch of community justice workers that will have, restorative justice cases sent into them, and they'll work with their participants in doing cultural programming and other sorts of programming and teaching around recidivism and to get those charges diverted. And so that's still a program that runs, and that's kind of the main thing that Onashowewin does. But I guess a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, Onashowewin applied for and got funding for 2 new programs, one of which is our post-sentence support program, which is a little bit self-explanatory about helping folks that are coming out of or have just come out of or are about to come out of the carceral system, trying to help them reintegrate back into society healthily. And then the other one is a family violence prevention program, which is in Yeah, still in kind of developing stages as well. This one's kind of existed in some capacity for about a year now. I've only been here for about 5 months, 6 months, something like that. And just trying to kind of get the word out about what the post-sentence support program is. I think Onashowewin, even though it's existed, like I said, for about 25 years, I think it's been pretty flying under the radar in terms of they just receive their diversions and referrals directly from their sources. And so they've been very happy to kind of sit in that space. But these new programs need to kind of branch out a little bit. And so trying to get Onashowewin's name back out there. And so we'll talk a little bit more as well about what our program does, but it's a similar thing to what the restorative justice diversion programs do in terms of providing programming and cultural supports and things like that. And Rayna kind of touched on this a little bit as well. Some of the things that we can do specifically in our in the Onashowewin programs, but specifically with the post-sentence programs is, we, like I said, offer shops and create cultural learning opportunities. We try to kind of walk with participants on their path, no matter what that looks like. The way that I kind of describe it to folks is you can think of us as kind of a friendly PO, a secondary PO, where we're not like going to be looking over your shoulder and checking your work and going to report you to the government if you're not doing anything right. But if you have something that you want to do, we can, holding your hand is not quite the right metaphor, but we can be with you there as you figure out how to get in contact with CFS, how to get on EIA, how to get your ID cards back. There's certain things that a lot of people I think take for granted, and I'm sure that you folks have all kind of seen the levels of which folks are kind of unprepared to come back into normal society as we would kind of see it, and just not be able to handle doing those things necessarily by themselves. So we have people come to us and say, hey, like, I need my ID. And we can point them in the right directions for that, but we can also do a bunch of, programming work on budgeting, housing, anger management, things like that, kind of in terms of kind of soft skills. Obviously, we also can't act as lawyers for them because that's your job. But we want to take that other side of things where maybe your clients are going, hey, I don't know what to do, or you are concerned that they're going to reoffend. If you think they're in danger of going back into the communities and the spaces that they were in that were maybe unhealthy for them in the first place, you can talk to them about our program and refer them in here and get them in contact with us or have us get in contact with them potentially. But yeah, just want to be really clear. We're not trying to do your job at all, and nor are we going to pretend that we can.
You can help us.
Yeah.
Really importantly, we do not provide housing. We do assist with like soft referrals to different housing organizations, transitional housing, addictions and recovery housing, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's another important thing we need to.
Yeah. Like a lot of the work that we're doing, it's a really good point right now. A lot of the work that we're doing is in referrals and like system navigation. Because that's
like for the post-sentence program specifically.
Yeah.
We do a lot of referrals and trying to connect people with services so that they have what they need to avoid reoffending. They'll have access to like, income and shelter and things like that. We help them get reestablished essentially.
Yeah. But you're right. No direct housing offers for us, but we'll sit down and figure out what we can do with folks.
What might be available out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What might be available, what the options are, what you have in terms of, if you have a income, what that'll look like, what rent assist looks like, all those sorts of things. And so the direct referral pathway, that direct introduction, the direct referral can come either as a self-referral, or it can come from you folks. We have some forms that we'll again make available, but we have application form like intake and referral forms, as well as like a consent form that are all fill out. You can fill them all out on your computer, either you or your client, and then submit them into us, and then we can make contact there. And then, yeah, like I said, that's part of the intake. We'll try to meet with them in person, even if they're in the remand center, if they're in women's correctional, whatever, we'll go in, or if they prefer it, we can do intakes over the phone, but we just need something more than just a lawyer's like, oh, you should probably do this, we want to hear as well from the participant, because it really is, you get out of it what you give into it. And so, there's folks out there who will, not necessarily want to put too much into it, and we can't force them to do that, as you folks probably know.
Or
Mhm.
do you refer any on the land programs
Say that again.
in number 4 there?
Yeah.
Do you refer clients to any on the land program?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So we have connections with a bunch of different places. Some of the things that we directly do through our programming is, well, the entire rest of our office right now is actually out at a sweat right now out in Brokenhead with a bunch of their own participants. And so that's something that we do at least monthly, but we also go medicine picking, which we went a couple weeks ago. Like there's a whole bunch of different things that we do, in terms of within our own program. And then of course there's all sorts of different referral options if folks want more.
We provide like experiential learning opportunities for Indigenous culture. So like you can connect with elders, like when we go to sweats, you have the opportunity to ask for the elder for your traditional name, your colors. A lot of the involvement for the participants can really kind of begin like a journey for them, right? And when it comes to the referrals, that's why we stress that the client really needs to kind of be at the center of the process. They need to we provide those brochures so that lawyers can provide those to the clients, and then the clients can review that and check them out and see, am I interested in this? Because it is a big decision to kind of move forward with our programs and decide, I want to take this step in my life.
It's scary, or it can be scary.
Yeah, especially if you've never been connected to your culture, if you're an Indigenous person. Also, we do help non-Indigenous folks as well, but primarily our clientele are Indigenous.
Yeah. So like,
yeah.
We'll accept anybody into the program. They just have to know that it is based in, obviously. Exactly.
Like Indigenous teachings and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so they have to be at least somewhat interested in
Yes.
being connected to spirituality
and make sure that they're really ready to show up in a good way. Like if we are taking you to like a sweat or something like that, obviously participants need to know they can't show up under the influence and stuff like that. We go over these things with them as well, and just let them know what the protocols are and stuff. So if a lawyer is meeting with someone and, they're expressing the need to connect to culture or, get involved in ceremony or get involved in some kind of programming, Onashowewin would be potentially a good fit.
Yeah. Speaking of fit, go back to the intake and fit. So we'll do that second, like that first kind of paper intake, and then also a in-person or a phone call intake just to confirm with the potential participant, and then work on a support plan and kind of a map, a pathway forward for kind of like a checklist, reintegration plan of trying to figure out what it is, what supports are most important, and where they kind of want to be going with things, and then obviously make the connections and move forward past that.
Okay, and yeah, so as I was mentioning, the clients really need to be informed and aware before referrals are made. We have received a few referrals for clients where from some other individuals where the clients don't really know that they're being referred. So we do want to stress that the clients are aware of what Onashowewin programs are, and that they are consenting to that being involved in our programs as well. They can self-refer as well, so they don't need a lawyer to refer them. They can also get anyone in their network of care to refer for them, like any kind of support person. Some people have different workers with different organizations that are already working with them. And we like to do like a warm handoff as well. So like if we're connecting with someone, we like to say that we've got their information and we'd like to meet them. We'll do like a bit of a smudge with them if they want, have a warm introduction, and then kind of start off that way so that each client feels, safe and comfortable in our environments. We have smudging facilities in our offices as well, where we meet with our participants. So we create a warm and inclusive space. And then also information sharing. I just wanted to make a note on that. It all should be client-centered as well, and consent-based. So in our forms and whatnot, we have consent so that the clients can consent to their information being shared between Onashowewin and lawyers for updates and things like that. And so knowing when to refer your client this will probably be the most critical information for the lawyers. And so a legally refer may be appropriate where, like, say if a client is Indigenous, although it's not restricted to Indigenous people only, and is seeking some culturally grounded justice support. So someone who maybe wants to make positive changes in their life, they've had some conflicts with the law, but they're on a trajectory where they, if they're for example, incarcerated, maybe they've been doing some programs and things in there, and when they leave, they want to, continue that work. Post-sentence would be great for them. And then if they're in conflict with the law, maybe they're facing new charges, they could possibly benefit from our restorative justice diversion program for more minor offenses. We also don't, for that program, don't work with offenses related to crimes against children or sexual assaults. So that's important to note. As well as clients who, maybe are dealing with like issues of instability with housing or lack of access to treatment or things like that. We can try to get some referrals going and help them to stabilize themselves, get shelter and stuff like that. Because really everything else they're going to do is going to flow from just having those basic needs met first. And then we can really start doing some other work. Like if they want to work on themselves culturally, spiritually, we have those options available. And then just to reiterate as well, just have everything based on consent when referring a client, and that the client fully knows that their information is going to be shared and things like that. And yeah, so then our work, as I mentioned earlier, really is meant to kind of complement the work of lawyers and really to help reduce recidivism. And so we can help with some of the needs that involve like urgent needs, like stabilizing things like shelter and gaining identification, as Daniel was saying. We also provide bus tickets for individuals so they can attend their appointments. We can help them organize, around their different parole meetings, things like that, or probation meetings. We can also around mental health and safety planning. So helping individuals with, creating safety plans for various different situations they might be faced in, so that they can avoid reoffending or provide access to resources for helping individuals with like budgeting and food insecurity and things like that. So we have some budgeting and also like food education resources as well for people who are lower income to save money, so we can avoid thefts and things like that and try to reduce crime in that sense.
It sounds like you're doing a lot of trauma-informed connection with your clients.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because I feel like a lot of these issues are, really what drive a lot of people to commit crimes in the first place, right? And so we're really trying to focus on the root of the issue so we can make our communities safer. Yeah, and then so one thing I would like to also add is that, we do not provide a particular promise for a legal result to our clients. We just are there to support them, and we do the best that we can to improve our support, but also it is very client-based. They have to be, like what Dan said, willing to, participate and show up and, actually engage with us. So that's a key part of it as well. And then just like collaborating together like this. So when you have clients that you feel would be, suitable for Onashowewin, ultimately this will just create less work for everybody. So for lawyers, for courts, for clients, and for the community. So at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're trying to avoid issues happening before they do by providing all the appropriate supports and services for individuals who are either being charged or have left the institutions. And then I'll touch a little bit on the family violence as well. So individuals involved in domestic disputes can also take part in the family violence program, what we offer. And that one is great for individuals learning how to have healthy relationships. And it's also grounded in 7 sacred teachings of the Anishinaabe tradition. So that's really great as well for creating less work for all the lawyers in the courts. And then, yeah, we'll just open this up for some questions, and if you guys want to have a discussion, if there's anything I wasn't clear about, or if you have any questions for Dan as well. I'm also, I'll let you know, I'm a student in this program right now. I'm going into doing my 2L at Robson Hall this fall. So I'm doing this as like my summer position. So I'll be doing some part-time work up until December, but the main contact for this program will be Dan here. And yeah.
Great. You're done with your presentation. I'll just stop the.
Yeah,
If you,
for sure.
yeah, you can either, we also have, I've got there's a cell phone number on there as well, but
Oh.
so feel free to text that. I know that, no, it's okay. I know you did, but that's okay.
My bad.
But we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah.
Anybody online who has a question, feel free to unmute yourselves and speak up. I do want to ask, so are there any restrictions on the programming based on the type of charges that the client has been convicted of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because one of the interesting things that this program specifically is.
Like for post-sentence, there's not really.
Yeah, because like the people that are coming into the program, 9 times out of 10 are folks that really do want to make a change. And so in that kind of sense, like we have some folks with some pretty serious charges, obviously that have been referred into our program. They're still incarcerated, but we're working with them. And we go through the same intake process of just kind of making sure that we're comfortable. I think that, if there's folks that have some specific charges around sexual violence or related to minors, things like that, then we probably wouldn't offer in person, or at least inside our offices. That's not a scenario that we've come across yet. But I mean, that's if you don't mind, I'll open up a little farther. We offer like Zoom or like video calling programming as well for folks that are out of town as well. So we can work with folks that are in Port of the Prairie or Brandon or whatever as well, if they can't make it in. And so that's probably would just end up being the same situation if we had folks with those kinds of charges.
Yeah, that's really helpful because we do have offices across the province, Thompson, the Paw, Brandon, Dauphin, Winnipeg. And a lot of the programming that is available in Winnipeg does not stretch to the regions. I know I'm in some committees with the court and they are trying to expand like mental health court, drug treatment court, things of that nature.
Mhm.
But even those programs, which are obviously pre-sentence of any sort, generally you have to enter a guilty plea and the Crown attorneys do restrict some offenses like arson, even to get into like a treatment program like Behavioral Health Foundation for inpatient treatment. They will generally not take people who have, for example, an arson on their record or they're pending on significantly serious assaults or gun related charges and things like that. And I know I'm not knocking them at all. That's to protect their other participants and make sure the safety of the people they're assisting. But that's good to know that, I mean, by the time if you're looking at post sentence,
Yeah.
clients already taken responsibility, served their time.
Yeah.
And feasibly potentially working towards further rehabilitation. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different of perspective because it is post sentence, but I just wanted to check, if there were restrictions in that regard. So that's good to hear.
Yeah,
And
good
for-
question. Thank you for,
For the diversion restorative justice program, they do not, like, they haven't really done yet cases involving crimes against children or sexual assaults. That's not to say that we can't, you could still potentially refer, but we haven't done that yet. So our office is like he said, set up, we could do things remotely. But we do also serve like minors as well. There are youths and stuff that come into our office for the pre-charge diversion program.
Yeah, I did a lot of youth law, so I'm familiar with Onashowewin for years.
Yeah. So we do want to create make sure that those spaces are safe as well for the youth and stuff that come. So for those, we wouldn't meet with them in the office. But yeah, like for post-sentence, we can pretty much support most individuals and, find a way to support them either virtually or by other means as well.
Yeah, that's really good to know and quite inclusive to make sure the regions are involved as well. Is there anyone online that has any questions of any sort or in person? Richard, anybody?
Well, there was one bail that I went to a few weeks ago, I feel like this could have worked for the individual because they were taking care of their children, but at the same time, they had a very negative, they just didn't like the police, like whenever the police would show up for like their the tether check or whatever, they were religious or whatever. So they were indigenous, they cared very much about taking care of their children, but they were just not in a position to be a good example
Yeah.
for them essentially. And I feel like this person got their bail denied because he had no fallback supports. And I feel like this probably could have focused on something that I would have suggested if about it, but
So are you able to assist people on bail to looking towards when they dealt with their charges to make sure they're in a better position? So it doesn't necessarily have to be that they've been sentenced.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at its core, it's about trying to help people that want to be in a better place, be in a better place. Right. And
People who are in conflict with the law.
Yeah.
particularly.
Yeah, it's difficult to connect clients with supports often. I mean, depending each different circumstance, some have them supports, but
Yeah.
some that really don't have any supports at all.
Yeah.
Something.
You'll encounter a lot of like people coming out of foster care, for example.
Yeah.
Those will be, probably a lot of your caseloads is people coming out of foster care, people with dealing with mental health issues, recovery and substance use issues. Those people will have like pretty much no one. And like some of our clients already so far are people like that. And we've helped them, like go to ceremony like for the first time. And it's like, you could tell like it makes a difference in their life. And even if it's like, it's not a profound change today, we've planted a seed at which, they can start to water that seed and watch it grow and flourish, right? Whereas before they might have never gotten those opportunities, right? Or never even known that they were there. So we're there to be that point of, planting that seed as well.
Yeah, I think just things like assisting someone to help get some IDs and that, like people are really stuck when you don't have an ID. It's very difficult to
Yeah.
through society and get anything done with no ID.
And there's people with, cognitive difficulties that will struggle with just simple like filling out paperwork and applying for things, making phone calls. These things can be very cumbersome and intimidating to someone with limited cognitive skills or FASD or things like that, right? So we'll help them. Like I've helped people fill out applications for like, their children's special allowance, settlement claims, things like that. Like, we'll help them with those things and kind of walk alongside them in their journey, like we say on our slides.
Yeah, I think that's helpful for defense counsel because if we're, at a sentencing saying, the client has plans to do X, Y, and Z, and we can say that he's been connected or she has been connected with Onashowewin to help them with portions of that. That's it has a little more teeth to it than us just standing there going, the client promises they're going to do this.
And one of the things that we do pretty frequently is we can write a letter of support and be like, oh yeah, this person has been accepted in the program. This is what the plan looks like for them that we have created with them.
And their engagement so far.
Yeah, exactly.
If counsel spoke to you in advance, if you were connected with a client, would somebody appear in court?
That's not something I don't actually know. That's a good question. That's a gray area.
Sometimes they just have questions for,
Yeah, we've never done that yet, but like, I'm not saying we can't.
Yeah, I would be.
Well, the accompaniment support,
Mhm.
it's not legal advice, but it's accompaniment.
I mean, we go to prisons. So
Yeah,
I'm sure we could.
Yeah.
my experience, if I've told a court that, so-and-so support says this,
Yeah.
the judge had a follow-up question for that, they'll usually just, take a break and I can call the program and confirm the detail that the court wants to know.
Absolutely.
So it might not necessarily be necessary, but I was just wondering if that's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's also possible. We do have a cell phone for our post-sentence support program as well. Dan is very responsive to answering.
What is that number? I think I cut off your program,
I can. It's not in that one, but it's in this.
In the
other
slideshow
Oh,
here.
okay. But it's also.
Our cell phone number is very new, like within the last couple of weeks, so.
But it's for those of you online that have a pen and paper, I can also just say it now. It's 431-275-3610. And like you can I know that like part of the reason that I felt like it was important to get that is it's way easier or way less daunting, I think, to text somebody than it is to phone necessarily. Yeah, Thank you, Sandra. Yeah, so it's way less daunting to text somebody than it is to phone them, but it's a good way to stay in like constant communication. And I also think it's like probably good for you folks that it's easier than, sitting down and sending an email. You can just do a quick informal check-in with us, and it's not like a super, it's supposed to be a very informal way of being in contact with us. So.
And do feel free to also text if you need like a quick update about, about someone in our program, if they've been referred and have all their consent forms and everything done, then I'm just happy to provide any updates.
Just this second slide, this part here would be very helpful for like admin court.
Mhm.
People are coming in, they need to apply for legal aid, but they have a charge that's for like theft under.
Oh, right,
Yeah, they're like, there's food bank assistance right there. Or maybe they're trying to provide us with information. There's help with getting their ID and stuff like that. I feel like, maybe the whole thing is a little bit too unwieldy for admin corp, but there's certain aspects of it that I feel like people, it'll be the carrot that gets them into this thing.
Yeah. Well, and every person that comes into the program, like we approach differently, right? Like everybody's got very specific needs sometimes. And so, that's obviously part of the intake and planning section of the program is trying to figure out how we can best help these folks in the ways that are going to be most impactful to them. And so that'll look very different for different people.
And just for the benefit of those online, I do have a number of pamphlets that they've left for me now. I will next week scan these and circulate this as well as an information sheet that I was provided. And we will as well put this recording of this session as well as the materials into our Lunch and Learn page as well, just so everyone knows. And I'll just note that we have a comment from one of the students that are from the Dauphin area appreciating my comment with respect to the rural, because again, they often get left out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great that they can be included in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clients in those areas.
Yeah, one thing that I want to be pretty clear on too is that like there are some good restorative justice programs out in more northern areas as well. I'm not trying to step on those people's toes at all, obviously.
Yeah.
But my understanding, at least, is that there isn't a huge amount of post-sentence support into that. There's a lot of like the charge diversion and kind of more minor charge work that goes on in those spaces, but maybe not so much.
And you would be able to help if a lawyer from the regions approached you and you were aware that there is another program that may be able to provide additional assistance. You would be able to say to them, hey, you may wish to contact this program and
For sure.
help and
Sure.
additional referrals. So
Yeah.
We like to network with different service providers as well. So we do have like a pretty extensive, I would say, network of different service providers we can connect people to, and we're always adding to that as well.
Yeah.
So we have Caitlin Clark asking, where do we find the intake application form?
Yeah, we were chatting about how absolutely god awful our website is right now. So don't go to our website for any.
I had gone to their website to look for something just a couple days ago.
Provide you like a copy, and then you can add that as well to your materials. You have a digital version.
Or if folks want to get like in contact immediately, like if you have a pretty pending case that you're specifically looking to get help with, you can share my email in the chat right now. It's just D McIntyre. It's probably on.
You can type it in on.
Oh, look at that.
The reception number 2, and there's D McIntyre.
Yeah, I think that
You got it.
looks right. Yeah. So you can just shoot me an email there. I'll get back to you. I'm going to the remand center today, so maybe not today and obviously not Monday, but probably Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be able to respond back into you. Or
If you want to send me the application form, I'll put together a scan of the brochure that we've got here and then that lawyer information sheet and the application form, and I can circulate that to like the lawyers around and students around the.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and something else that I'd love to say is that there are a couple folks that are with legal aid that have already been referring folks into us, and it's been fantastic. It's great. If that is any of the folks here, I'm not recognizing any of the names off the top of my head right now, but if there are folks in there, or hear that, or hearing the recording, I guess, that have been referring it to us and have suggestions. Like we're totally open to that kind of a thing. Is if you, think we could be doing something better or different or something like that, totally receptive to that.
One of the people that's here is Chanel LaJoy. She's one of the lawyer with the U of M prison clinic.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Hello.
Hi, Chanel. Point not meaning to single you out.
I,
Post sentence, you see a lot of people that are post sentence. So
I do, yeah, exclusively.
I thought I would mention that. Anybody else have any questions? I think we've covered the chat. Cody did come back and say, mention that the Friendship Center, she's out in the Dauphin area, does have some wraparound services, but for Dauphin, but not post sentence. So
Okay, that's good to know.
yeah, anybody else have any questions? Well, we have Onashowewin here to answer. Going once, anyone else in person? Oh, no.
no, fan. It's interesting, and I'm glad to hear what you do. Just a quick question. I know it has to vary depending on the client and whoever you're dealing with. What is the average length of a person's involvement in the program? Like, is it like some as little as 2 weeks and as much as 2 months or something like that?
Yeah. And
It varies.
within 2 months. I mean, it's the kind of thing where,
Relationship building.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot of relationship building. It's also a lot of like, we can have some folks come in that it's like, oh, I just need ID and to get on EIA, and then they're good. Right.
Yeah.
But there's also a number of folks. Well, we have one person that came in. I was like, oh, I need help with EIA and my IDs and like getting a job. And then he was like, oh, I'm from Saskatchewan and all my stuff's there. And we're like, okay. So this is a bit of this is a bigger thing. So he's been with us for a number of months now. And so, yeah, there's no real cutoff point. Again, like, kind of working to a space where they don't need our support.
Great.
Or they've built enough like community connections that, we can
Yeah.
kind of fade into the background type of thing, because
Yeah.
we're also helping them build that network, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It takes time to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, 2 weeks to indefinite, essentially.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
what
So you've seen
put in.
clients over a period of years, probably, or some people
Well-
to recognize and know and.
This program has only existed about a year.
25 years.
No, so Onashowewin as an organization has existed for about 25 years. This
Okay.
post-sentence support program is new. Yeah, hence, that's so.
What we were doing before that was primarily the diversion and restorative justice stuff.
Right.
And then we've branched off into also family violence and post-sentence support now.
And by we, she doesn't mean us. She means Onashowewin.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So do you guys have, I attended a conference once on, court worker Indigenous conference that was, maybe 2 years ago. We went to that. We spoke at it. Anyway, it's one. So do you guys have conferences with other agencies, somewhat like you're doing? And
I think our
Yeah.
ED does go to quite a few like different restorative justice conferences, and
oh yeah.
yeah, he's usually the one that goes to our executive director. His name's Lester Houle.
Oh, okay.
Pretty frequently, like a lot of the folks with Onashowewin, like a lot of the just employees will go out as well.
Yes, yeah.
So
For training, of course.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see Cody has her hand up here. Cody?
Hi. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing about your program. I think it's great. So now, if we're talking about post-sentencing and supports, I heard about a couple other provinces and areas that will send people home after they're done their sentence. I don't know that Manitoba does that. From what I understand, they keep them in the same jurisdiction as their sentence was. They don't send them home. Can your service help with that if they're displaced? I have family members who are displaced right now.
Sorry, since I stepped over your last part there. Could you repeat that?
I mean, I even have family members who got in trouble who are displaced right now from Island Lake region. They can't afford to get back.
That's a fly-in community.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And how do they go back home? By canoe?
as I did circuit up there for a few years, I used to basically harass the band, and try to get the band and council on board to pay to
Right.
have something sent back.
Yeah, a lot of
Sometimes there were people that they didn't necessarily want back in the community. That became more.
Yeah, there's lots of nepotism with that, Catherine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It can
so
be really bad.
that's the kind of space, like we don't have a budget to fly people back, unfortunately, as you probably understand. But that's the kind of thing where we can, do our best to supply evidence that we've been working with the folks and they're working towards a space of change, and try to use that as reasoning to get them back into let the band be, or whatever the situation looks like, let them be more welcome back into the community. Because you're right. I mean, that's a tricky subject, and that's a tricky space to be in.
Yeah, like Saskatchewan actually gets everybody home. They have a stranded offender program, and then BC will cab somebody home wherever it is. It could be a really expensive cab ride, but I don't know that for Manitoba. So thank you so much. Even any support for it is helpful.
Yeah. I know that there's certain.
Sounds like you need a committee there. An additional service called like the Saskatchewan and have it here.
Yeah. I mean, I know that there's the ability to, like, one of our participants is going to be released into Portage la Prairie. Obviously, that's nowhere near as big a deal as, I don't know, going out to Hollow Water or something like that. That's just a lot farther away and just a lot less accessible than just driving down the highway. So I'm not entirely sure what release plans through the government look like.
I will say there are a lot of problems with the way people are released from custody. Like, for example, if you're being held in Headingley, they'll drop you off at Unicity with a bus ticket.
Yeah, don't they just like drop them off at Walmart or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
It's like all these crazy people walking around. I go to that Walmart all the time.
Why?
Some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of things happening at that Walmart in the last year, let's say, but I don't think it's related to people getting released
Okay.
from custody necessarily, but that's so different institutions, depending on where the person is. Like you're dropped off with a bus ticket and that's it. So if you have nowhere to go, you probably do now live in the parking lot at Unicity.
Yeah. Or like, how do you feed yourself, right? You're probably gonna have to go steal something, right? Like, that's unfortunate, but yeah, so.
Well,
Not a lot of help.
Unless some advocacy happens there and start working on new services that may be needed.
Yeah.
Well, this is a start anyway.
I know. This is great. Thank you for sharing.
Anybody else? Oh, wait, Chanel was mentioning perhaps there's a room to have further discussions with the U of M prison clinic as well.
Happily,
Yeah, for
So
sure.
Chanel, if you send me an email to remind me, Chanel, I'm away this afternoon. So send me an email to remind me and I'll send you the contact information for Rayna and Daniel.
That'd be great. I'll send that right away.
And Cody's now writing, I intend to write a letter before the year end to the Justice Minister and I would love to meet and speak on the topic.
Yeah, for sure. You should also talk to Rayna, who has some experience writing letters to the.
Yeah, if anybody wants the contact information, I know Daniel put his email there, but you can just email me. I've got both their emails, so I can hook anybody up who wants to have further discussions. So
Yeah, and also, like I said, feel free to text that number that was put in the chat there as well.
Okay.
Just maybe say your name in the text. I'm not just kidding. Random numbers coming through.
any further questions from the crew online? We're good here. Okay, well, it looks to be no more questions. All right, well, thank you both for coming today and imparting your knowledge on us about this new program. That's great to know. Getting the word out that it's available is definitely, I mean, for us, once we've dealt with someone, we tend to not talk to them again until they're rearrested.
Yeah.
So, but I did a lot of youth law and I know clients did contact me for things like ID and Because sadly, I'm the only person that they knew for a period of 2 years or more to be able to,
And especially the only person that they knew that was helping them.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know, so, some lawyers try to go the extra mile, but knowing that this kind of thing is available, if the lawyer's not doing anything more, but at least tell the client about you guys, then
Yeah.
it helps them to get moving a little bit more, so.
For sure.
Yeah, and it helps when you have heavy caseloads if you're not, carrying all these other little issues with you, right? That are also important and affect your file, but
Just knowing that I'd have somebody I can refer them to that I think
Beautiful.
could help them sort of take the ball. And like, because the whole point would be to try to avoid the recidivism and having them back on my criminal docket again.
Well, yeah, and we know that some of that is because they haven't made that transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they can make the transition, like,
Well, there
get
was
right home and start a new plan.
there was a young man last year who I believe was killed by police at Unicity Mall, who had been released, was from Nunavut and had no way to get home and was hanging around Unicity. I don't know exactly what it all happened, but
It's very sad.
yes, it is. And after the stories that came out afterwards indicated like he had no way to get home,
Yeah.
no family connections here,
yeah.
money,
It's a
you know.
stranger in a city where in Nunavut, they rarely live in cities.
We've been able to connect with people who are still incarcerated and then set up housing for them so that when they leave the institution, they have a place to go. And they're not just,
Yeah.
like aimlessly wandering the city, trying to find shelter or going to shelters that are already overpacked and getting denied and.
Or going.
Don't know, like had that individual been connected, like there's the Inuit Association here in Winnipeg, out on, I think it's Notre Dame. They very much could have probably helped that individual, but he wouldn't have known about it.
Right.
So he got released and dumped in the parking lot and
Yeah.
unfortunately came to his demise, but had he been connected with some proper supports, he may have had a way to get back to his family,
Yeah, for sure.
Sad. Okay, well, if no one has anything else, I see some people just thanking you here, and I would again like to thank you. And again, if anybody wants any more information about this, let me know, and I will be adding the recording and all the materials to the Lunch and Learn page as well. Okay, everybody have a nice day and have a nice long weekend.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Bye, all.
Have a
And
good
thank
weekend.
you. Especially, yeah.